The Jewish Theater of Austria was founded in Graz in 1999. It was very much a personal response to the experience of feeling confronted with the question of what does it mean to be Jewish? What does it mean to be Jewish and live in Austria? People tend to associate Jewishness, as they do any kind of otherness or perceived otherness, with exclusivity. I found through my many experiences, also when I was here in the 80s, that it was anything but selbstverständlich, Jude zu sein in Österreich, and I felt one day like, well, if it's such a question, then theater would be one possible way of responding to the question. And in any case, the Jewish Theater of Austria's approach in its productions, in our very office, which we call the window, because there's a lot of glass here and people can see from the street outside what we're doing inside and vice versa. We try to emphasize the point that no, in fact, being different doesn't mean being in any way shut off. Having a different aspect of heritage to other people does not mean that that there's any separation between people. And so I founded the company, as I said, at that time, 1999, and began to develop productions that address foremost the question, what does it mean, Jewish? Our office, which we call the window, is particularly interesting because it includes an event room, which we use also for conferencing and sometimes for rehearsals and for certain types of performances even. The window offers us an opportunity to interact with the world immediately outside our workspace. Whatever's happening out there, we can see while we're in here. If people stop and look through the window, they can see what we're doing. There are no secrets. Outside our window, we are surrounded by, on one side of the glass, the Central Police Department of the Vienna Neubau, where the office is situated. On the other side of the window, there are two Burschenschaften, fraternities that tend, in my opinion, to be rather right-wing leaning and not necessarily believing in all the same things that we do. The Bezirksamtshaus is also visible from our window, and it's just on the corner. So we feel that the window emphasizes the idea of community, which our company certainly stands for, and which I believe is one of the most precious qualities of theater, of making theater. Theater is part of a community, its profile, its discussion, its interaction. Many different people with different beliefs, coming from different walks of life, practicing different professions, all live together in one small dorf. And our window, I think, emphasizes the importance of revealing that. Der Garten im Schrank was written in early February 1988, in a period of 6 days. It was greatly inspired by the ongoing so-called Chaos of Altheim. Very much a response to questions of memory, the past, responsibility, shame, questions of collective, so-called collective versus individual guilt. perceived important questions of that time that were controversial. And my play was a response to that. When one sees this production here in Vienna, then I think it's impossible not to understand that it was written here in Vienna and to perceive it as a Viennese play. And I think in a certain sense that's right, but if this play, exactly as it's written, without changing a single word, for example, the word Jewish doesn't appear anywhere in the play, were to be produced, let's say, in Palestine, or in Iraq, or in Israel, or in practically any place you could name, I don't think it would be that obvious that people would say, oh, Vienna, oh, German anything. I don't see why. It's a play about hatred and fear, which becomes hatred of the other, whoever the other is. It's a play about the logical consequences of such fear. It's a play about shame and hiding and lies, denial, what one calls here Verdrängung. That applies everywhere. And so what's interesting about Der Garten im Schrank is when it's played in Vienna, it's about Vienna. And probably when it's played in New York, it's about New York. What's really especially nice about winning the Inter.Kultur.Preis, winning, as of being selected for this honor, is on the one hand that one of the institutions responsible for presenting this prize is the Gesellschaft für Kulturpolitik. For me, as someone who is really the most outspoken critic that I know of in the arts of Kulturpolitik, I don't believe that it needs reform. I think it needs to be dismantled. I don't believe in the relationship of dependency between politicians and artistic directors. For me, it's a particularly strong honor, therefore, to be recognized by the Gesellschaft für Kulturpolitik, but of course also by the other presenters of the prize. It's also meaningful to us that the prize comes out of Oberösterreich, one part of the country that we have not yet had the opportunity to play in,